مساء الخير دكتور نعمة. Good evening everybody. Nice to meet you all.
Good evening, good morning. Welcome to you all. Hello. Hello everybody. With your permission, we start our session. Good afternoon. Good afternoon, Professor Wissam. Can you hear me? Can you hear me? Oh, yes, we can hear you. We can hear you. We can hear you. Let's start this conference. Today, a meeting is organized online in which we are going to present innovative models that have been adopted in the teaching, online teaching and integrated teaching in the Arab world that have been adopted by teachers, professors. In the Arab world, these models will be shared with you in your teaching practices that have been adopted by the use of the technologies during the online teachings. We will present models from different disciplines: physics, mathematics, history, geography, education, Arabic language, and the English language, to give an opportunity to all the teachers, men and women, to benefit from these models. I'm going to give the floor now to the experts in the European Institution for Training, European Training Foundation. Fabio, Professor Fabio, the floor is yours. You can all listen to the Arabic interpretation. Fabio, can you hear me, Professor Fabio?
Yes, thank you very much. Thank you very much. I hope you can hear me well and the translation works, at least in the English channel, it works very well. So just 2 minutes to welcome all of you to this webinar. This webinar is organized by the European Training Foundation and specifically within the work of the community of innovative educators that the ETF is actually promoting and supporting. And it is a webinar focusing on innovative teaching and learning, that is the field of work of the community. And specifically, we are targeting the Arab-speaking region, so the South Mediterranean region, and it's great to see almost 40 people connected, including also some people from other regions that around Europe where the ETF is working. Now, these webinars are moments where we try to share innovation, share new ideas, and we normally like to hear these from the voices of the educators. So this is exactly what is going to happen. So feel free not only to learn from what we are going to hear, but also to comment and to follow up the discussion after this webinar also in the online space of our community. I will post in the chat now the website of the community. In the community, you can, at this link, you can register in the community, so you're sure that you won't lose anything of the next happenings of the community. And that's all. Without further ado, I would like to thank Nehme and all the speakers for their participation and give you back the floor, Nehme. Thank you.
Thank you فابيو. مثل ما ركز السيد فابيو ركز على
قال السيد فابيو has focused that this conference that is organized online targets the teachers in the Arab world. The importance of this conference is that you will benefit and you will learn from expertise, each other's expertise, especially the models that will be presented to you in this conference from teachers, men and women, that prepared such models. Mr. Fabio focuses on the importance of commenting on these models. They are not just going to stop at learning from these applications, but they are going to express your opinions, comment and criticize these models that have been prepared by the teachers, men and women, and we'll open the floor for discussion. We can't hear you, Dr. Neema. He said, Mr. Hani Zreqat said we can't hear you.
حط على الميوت.
عم يسمع. المشكلة من عندك أستاذ هاني.
The problem is on your side, Professor Hani. Yes, everybody hears me. The problem is yours, on your side, Mr. Hani. Okay. We will start by a question. Will be floated. We'll be put it on the Mentimeter, which is a request from you to mention technological applications that you adopted during your online teaching. We will start with the presenting the floating the question. This is the question. I hope that you will look into it. The question is on the chat box. We hope that you will go to write the names. I'm waiting for the applications. Any applications you have used in your online teaching, we wish to see each other participate and share with each other this application. Professor Sami Khafish tries to write down certain applications he has used in his online teaching. 5P, H5P. This is a good technological application that will present to you. Zoom, Microsoft Teams, very good. And can you see the screen? Oh, professors, good. Model, Moodle, hypothesis, yes. We're still presenting the technological applications that have been used or put to use, such as Google Meet, Screencastify, good. Go Formative, Kahoot. Are there any other technological applications? I don't know. Have you have used it too? Classroom, something? Microsoft Teams and Google Classroom, Google Meet, Moodle. Any other applications you have used? There are other applications, Microsoft and Whiteboard. There is Microsoft, but not one. I wish you could write it, Professor Abdul Karim.
ايه واضحة واضحة.
اوكي لنبدأ. فإذا سأبدأ بعرض نماذج ابتكارية
الصوت عم بيقطش
في تعليم مادة الجغرافيا. الآن جيد. سأبدأ بعرض نماذج ابتكارية تكنولوجية أعدها طلابي في الجامعة لتعليم مادة الجغرافيا واستخدموها خلال عملية التعليم عن بعد، التعليم المتزامن. وأقصد بالتعليم المتزامن وجود الطلاب والمعلم في نفس الوقت عبر منصة مثل منصة زوم أو منصة مايكروسوفت تيمز. سوف أبدأ بعرض
So I will start by sharing with you these programs that were prepared by students or teachers. So this is a video which is animated that were used on Microsoft Teams. So they have used it, and I will share with you the illustration. The distance or the surface area of Lebanon is 3,583 kilometers, like 34%, and it is made of trees,
bushes,
forests, etc., and farmlands representing 11% of the total surface area. And this is practically half of the surface area
environment.
Can you mention some of them? Can you share with us some of the advantages? Look at this video. This is a video that is animated to explain the surface area green service area in Lebanon, and she had shown that through pictures, animated pictures, to make sure the kids can understand. Since she had used synchronized, she asked questions. She asked questions on the students, and then she opened the debate through Microsoft Teams and asked the kids to provide her with the answers. After she has received all the answers, she assessed, evaluated them, and then she gave the right answers in another video. Let's look at the video that was prepared by this teacher. Let's listen. Now we are going to tell you some of the advantages of green space. It gives beauty to the country of Lebanon. So it is a habitat for many animals that are living here or those that immigrate to Lebanon. And of course, and it is also go for beehives, and she reduces CO2 and issues oxygen O2, which is very important for human beings and animals. So again, with the sun rays, sunlight, we can root those trees in case there is a landslide or there are torrents. Now here you can see that we can have shades that can protect people, and this is going to help people exercise, use tourism also. And look how many products can come out. And we have charcoal and pine trees that are very important in our country. So we have to protect this. If we stop using paper extensively, we can protect trees. Look at this second video that was prepared by a teacher of geography. She gave the answers in the form of a video. So she used the animated photos. She showed the trees, how they are moving. She also tried to explain to the kids how they can understand the visual with the vocal. Your message passes easily and efficiently. So, and of course, what happens is that the kids will memorize this easily. These two videos that I have shared with you were prepared by a student teacher. And this is a free of charge platform or application. You don't have to pay for it. You can use it and you can prepare your lessons through it. You can prepare videos for any course, mathematics, geography, history, and I will give you some of the applications. Now we move to another example that were prepared by other students, but this is going to be what we call the asynchronous learning in the teaching English. That is to say, after synchronous, we are going to put these things on video and the students can download it through Microsoft Teams. And we ask the students who were at home during the confinement, Corona-19, they can watch it and see how these teachers have made sure that the students have assimilated the course, have understood it. So let's see this new approach, asynchronous, the teaching of English. We are going to start with the presentation. This is our trip to Grammarlandia. We are going to stop in the city of possessive nouns. So possessive noun shows ownership. They show that So you can see what is being explained. So remember, notice the difference between this video and the previous one. This video was used in an asynchronous manner. So she wants to make sure that the student is watching the information that she wants to share with him through the video, and wants to make sure that he really is understanding everything she says. So these questions varies from open questions and closed questions, yes and no questions. So look at this. This is one answer from the student, and then you have an answer, and it shows that it is wrong. And the importance of radio is that the student was given with feedback. Look, there are three choices, and the right one is the middle. So this video plays an important role, as if the teacher is there in the same classroom. One of the important challenges that the teachers face during online teaching is that the students were far away from the teacher. So they wanted to make sure that the students were there in front of their computer and that they are getting the feedback. So you can see the feedback here. Without feedback, the students don't know exactly or for sure that the student has assimilated the lesson. But in this way, the teacher is definitely sure that the student has done the right thing.
يضغط ومن ثم يجيب. بعد ذلك ينتقل إلى المقطع الآخر.
So then he can move to the next.
فيما يخص الأسماء الجمع لتبيان هذه الأسماء أسماء الجمع. There's another question also, and as I've said before, and this is the feedback, and I will go back to the other question, the open question. بأن هناك تذكروا أن
you should add apostrophe s at the end of the noun.
لاحظوا حتى هنا يمكن للأستاذ
observe that here the professor or the teacher can ask questions, open questions. I will stop at this now because I'm constrained by time. I don't have enough time to present all the questions. This is an interactive video that is different from the previous video because it includes questions, and these questions allows the students to make sure of the veracity and the truthfulness of the information that he has seen, and we provide him with the feedback. And this video was prepared by the use or through the use of this application, Edpuzzle. This video has been prepared with questions by the use of an application, free application called Edpuzzle. Before moving, are there any comments on these activities? Are there any comments on these activities? What in teaching and learning online, once I suggest that the session should be interactive. When the video is pre-prepared, it should reinforce information. It does comparisons. I am with the approach that the teacher organizes the session at the same time with the student. He doesn't present to him anything that is prepared. The video should have been as a reinforcement, as a support, but it's not. It shouldn't just produce information. It should be interactive. at the same time between the teacher and the student. We have other applications, Professor, that deals with interactivity between the student and the teacher. I will answer Professor Fuad. These videos that have been presented, their importance lies in, we know that these students are at home and they receive instructions and follow instructions. These are the instructions we provide. We provide them with PowerPoints. The students is provided with PowerPoints. He does not know how to use PowerPoints. We don't know if he has understood or not. This technological application is provided with questions, and the teacher provided answers in the feedback. So provides the video when he answers the questions, and if he answers false, he will be provided with feedback as if there is as if it is indirect interactivity. But the other videos that were sent to home, they didn't have any interactive questions. Here, we cannot be sure that the operation of teaching and learning have taken place or not. In the first video, a teacher told me, in geography, I do synchronous teaching. We do it through Zoom directly, and discussions were open directly between us through chat and with the video. But what we are looking for are interactive activities that are done electronically between the student and the teacher. Mr. Fahmy will talk about this. The floor is yours. I see there's a question. How can the teacher use this application and use the student textbook when the application is related to the textbook of the students? I saw certain students who study follow through the approach, the British approach. In fact, as you see at this session, as if the student is sitting at a presence session, not online session. So how can this application, how can it be used with the student textbook? This application is a kind of support for the student textbook. The student textbook is to be used. Let's do mute. Could you mute, please? Could you mute? This book, Professor Sami, the student textbook is a frozen book. It doesn't have any dynamic animations or pictures. And that's why we prepared this video to support the student textbook. We change and transfer information in the student's book into lively animated information. What happens is that instead of the teacher using the student textbook, he uses this video, which is a summary of the study of the information that exists in the student's book. This is what the student has done. But now, as we will see the experience that we did for the interaction activity, we'll see this in the technological applications that are interactive between the students amongst themselves and between students and the teacher. We'll present them to you if you have no other questions. Go ahead, Professor Hani. Professor Sami, I liked what he said, that is in addition, that the picture provided by the teacher be presented to the student. This is good, but directly, if the student can answer the questions, his classmates will hear the answers, and it will be appreciated directly by the teacher, and the teacher will say these are good answers or bad answers. The feedback technique could be probably more beneficial, and the student afterwards is going to go back and look into the feedback. He might not even go back and look into the feedback. Thank you, Professor Hani. Of course, I have presented two experiences. First experience was prepared by a lady teacher during the synchronous teacher. And in this, she discussed open discussion with students through Zoom platform, and she received their answers and corrected them, and then afterwards she presented the answers through a video. The second kind of videos are important. How, Professor Hani? Because during the Corona crisis, the students were locked at home, and the teaching was synchronous and were limited in sessions with a lot of difficulties, internet difficulties and other difficulties. Dr. Nama, let me go into this. I will answer Dr. Hani and I will give you the floor, sir. What happened, Professor Hani, is that they uploaded videos through PowerPoint and they explain the concept. The students, they attend the videos, but sometimes they don't understand. Sometimes they are present, but they don't discuss anything. So the teaching or learning operation has taken place. Then we see that the student is at home and this teacher is not going to continue opening online connection with him. We need the application, an application in which we can put questions in this platform, in this application. So when he sees this video at home, it's as if the teacher is there electronically, he will answer him. Hence the importance of this Ed puzzle. Go ahead, 1 minute for a comment. In fact, what I see in our school is that in our schools, we see the students and the answers are, they go from one student to another, and eventually there is the summary of the answers. Hence, there is interactivity between the students themselves and between the students and the teachers. And thus they have the feedback technique directly. So we almost agree on everything. This is with synchronous teaching, but there is asynchronous teaching at night. The students open the video. It's asynchronous learning. So there is some weakness in the use of these technologies. There is a big difference between synchronous learning and interactive learning. You talk, the gentlemen talk about interactive and you talk about synchronous. At what time? At 3 o'clock in the morning? Would the students be awake? There is a difference between interactive and synchronous learning. Talked about the first experience about synchronous learning. For the interactive activities, there is interactivity between the students or amongst the students themselves and between the students and the teacher. Let's focus on these activities. Let's start with these activities. The activities are the following. We'll start with the first activity. Watch it. Small comment with your permission, please.
طب تفضل.
Go ahead.
تفضل. أنا سامعك.
إذا عم يسمعني.
أستاذ زاهي أنا سامعك.
I hear you, Professor Zahi. I can hear you. With your permission, Dr. Nami, for the teaching have been used with these applications clearly. I'm talking about tests.
فإذا حنبدأ بهيدا الاختبار.
Start with this test in the lower grades. I did it in Arabic.
عبارة عن اختبار.
It's a kind of test, interactive test for the students. The students will hear the voice and he will answer. It's a game, a learning game. You see here the timing. This time also will help the students, and the students will be obliged to answer in a short time. And afterwards, when he answers, we will will give the student a grade, a mark, a grade, and then after we give him a grade, and we see here the sound is broken, and we see here the feedback. First question was correct, and the second was correct, and the third one is false, and they told him it's false, and we show him the time. There was now contest between him and others. So we'll see another interactive activity between him, the student, and his colleagues. I will afterwards open afterwards we'll open the debate and did it in Arabic because we are talking Arabic.
في ترتيب بدأ الترتيب عطت الإجابة.
Look at the answer, the grade, the time it took. If you want to look the keyboard, he can see where he is in the ranking. So it can tell the students his grade and his ranking. So time and grade. And in this way, he tries to be the leader in the group. And this reinforces competition so that he can be the best in his classroom, supposedly. We are going to share with you another interactive activity. This is based on speed. He needs to read the question and answer quickly. And look, you see, it tells him how many wrong answers, how many right answers. The red means wrong, the blue means correct. And here it tells him what he did, how he performed. I move to another application. This is in physics. This is an application in physics. It's an interactive worksheet on physics. So the student is going to drag the question in the right place. Elongation, initial length, new length. So he needs to answer other questions. Let's see the other questions. You can read it and you can see. And we will see how the student can send and submit his, and we will see the feedback. So the student is going to send his answers as an email. It will land in the teacher's email address, and he can see. So all the answers came out wrong. And here they are correct because you see, and right after he has his grade. And this can be recorded and downloaded in the teacher's application. Now here, another pamphlet. This is an interactive question where the students have put all the information, including a video, and they asked to look at these information. And every student is going to make his comment. You see add comment. The student can say, excellent idea. After he sends it, the student and the teacher will see it at the same time. Now here, teacher and the student are learning at the same time. And this is more important because it opens a debate on other concepts that may require discussion between teacher and students. And we can, in this case, work in groups. So the students can exchange their opinions, their ideas, and the teacher can see all the answers and the comments of the students. I will move to another application that was used with regards to the map of Lebanon. You can see here the students can locate where the areas are. You see, he was asked where is Hermel region, and it's correct. Now he got, again, a correct answer. So he tries to answer, and he answers, and then we tell him whether it's correct or not. You see, the check means it's correct. And this is, of course, an online learning. And here it shows who is the best students. And this encourages students to compete with each other. And the last application I want to share with you is Kahoot is a game. So here the students, many users, look, there are 4 students, look at, and then they have a quiz and we will see who's going to be the leader. And then the game starts. So the objective is to be effective, to master the learning and in the quickest time possible. And every time we see who becomes first, who became second, who is promoted, who is demoted. So again, you see, each one can see where Robin is the first one, then he becomes the second, etc., depending whether he has answered correctly or incorrectly. And again, the Mall now is the first one, Robin became third. So you can see at the end, the students can get information and he knows who was the leader, who ranked first and who ranked last. 1 second, please. Again, you can see this game. And now I open the discussion for your comments, please. Again, look what's happening. Every time we have a new leader, questions, answers, and then the students get the answer and he gets the grade. Now you see, Mol is now the first in the class. We have 14 questions, so we are moving from one to another, and there are 30 seconds for every question. I just want to show you how the report is done at the end. That's why I'm covering all the questions for you.
بس لتشوف شيء كيف تنعطى اللائحة بالصدارة وهيدا حيشجع التلاميذ.
Nancy has become the first one now in the class or in the group of 4.
الدافعية عند التلاميذ.
So this is very, very important for the students. 13, and then we move to the 14th question, which is the last one in the game. And then we will look at the report. This is the last question. Okay, we finished. Look now, Nancy came first. Shaima came second. And you can see it's like a podium where they stand first, second, and third. I finished the different applications I want to share with you. If you have any questions, please feel free to ask. I'm going to provide you with all the technological applications that are available. Padlet, ePuzzle, Kahoot, Animaker, Screencasts, WordWall, EducaPlay, Macromedia, Quizlet. All these are available to you free of charge. Now, please take the floor if you have any questions or comments about what you have said. Yes, sir. I have a short question. Every method, how can we make sure that the student is not being assisted by someone? This is a very question. This is what I showed is for training, learning, not testing. That is to say, we want to make sure that the student is not being assisted by somebody in front of the computer. So, Of course, when we are teaching them, when they are learning, they better not cheat, of course. And when it comes to the assessment, we have a camera 360 degrees that can show if somebody is around the room and you give the student a specific time, and the camera is going to show the teacher that none of the student is being assisted by a parent or a friend. Yes, that's very interesting as an answer. I have a little comment, please. Go ahead. These methods can be used in the learning process. You can use both. You just need to add the camera. That's all. Yeah, both of them are. So far, we have a problem with the online learning. The idea of a 3D camera, it's you become a policeman and not a teacher. So it's like, am I testing him or am I investigating? Because a lot of countries decided to do online, but the day of the exam, they said, okay, in person, you come to classroom and you take the test, so that they can especially that we don't have self I mean, we are not, sometimes the students are not honest. There were many exams that were prepared in many versions. So the students.
One student has question number 1, another student has question number 5. Something else, Mr. Fuad. We did something of great importance. For instance, if the student with student number 1, we will have 4 answers. 4 answers are correct. If he chooses the first answer, he will go to another pathway. That is, all the questions will be specific to the students, but they will have been prepared by the teacher. If the student chooses B or number 2, he will go to another test, a whole different test. That's so. This is at the university level or high school level, but we didn't need a camera. This is for evaluation. Can you hear me? There's a problem also. The online evaluation or assessment or economic assessment for it, big questions. How can we deal with them? That is, especially that it include different or heavy change in words, in terms. So I will give an answer spontaneously through Google Form, especially that the spirit of the text changes. True. So open questions are corrected by the teacher, but not by Google Form. Google Form can give a rubric. Thank you, Professor Fuad. We have another presentation. Professor Fuad is among the speakers. Mr. Sami, you had something to say? Mr. Sami. We can't hear you. I have 2 important points. An interactive session online, which will use all the approaches you have presented. This is the second point. For assessment, I believe that open test exam is very good for students because it will help students if we were to strengthen the idea in students. we will be able to succeed. Third point is that online teaching will be very constraining and very important also, and obligatory for all educational approach for economic reasons mostly. So, Sami, how can we build a school or any online teaching? That is, how can we build a relationship between families and online teaching schools? Family in Lebanon, I find that online teaching is not very developed. How can we build it? How can we learn? When we're supposed to be at ease and happy when we do exercises on electronic schools. Zahid, when we use these technological approaches, that is for the way deal with teaching fairness. And when we present experiences like this, we'll start building trust between families and schools. And so the families will start accepting online teaching. At the school, will it continue? Until when? Maybe after a while, there will be a different situation, an unhealthy situation, or now emergency. Probably we'll forget this online teaching. Will it continue in schools? Will the ministry continue using it? I know. As you see, that online and integrated teaching, some schools now they use integrated teaching, presence teaching uses these applications. These applications were supposed to be used in presence education or face-to-face education, or some kind of hybrid learning. But a big part of the teachers didn't use them. They didn't realize the importance of technology until the arrival of Corona. So we have been saying it. All teachers, we were asking them to use such technological application in both online and offline education, because in face-to-face education, you have a big number of students. And by using these techniques directly, we will provide all the answers to the students in the folder. And then you'll have them in your account as a teacher. And in this way, we'll immediately know the weak points and points of strength for students. We need to generalize this, or the Ministry of Education needs to generalize this. We need to focus on training teachers and training students on the electronic schools. We're talking about public schools. I mean, private schools. They deal with this themselves by themselves. We can't hear you, sir. Can't hear you, said the speaker.
تعليم عن بعد.
Online teaching, in fact, I believe will influence curriculum in general. Current curricula, are they able to deal with these issues? In the health crisis, I agree with him. There will be a problem. There will be a problem. How can we deal with this? What will happen? This is what has been mentioned by Professor Zahid. There will be a mechanization of content. We will have a digital content, electronic content. So we need to train the teachers. This is important. This is the fundamental thing for the success of the operation. I thank you. We'll stop here at the questions, and now we move over to Professor Ibrahim to present to us his experience. Professor, you have the floor. Thank you, sir. Can we take the screen? Let me work on it. Go ahead. Thank you very much, Professor Fuad Ibrahim. I am, in fact, after the Corona crisis, we hit the wall. There was complete absence of the states, and there was no training of teachers to face those conditions. I tried to work with students through PowerPoint, and we saw that the presence was reduced and the results were weak, down. We try to find other methods that are more interactive. And a friend of mine recommended another approach through which I could work with the students as if he is present in the classroom. I taught economics, and in economics I have a lot of math that I cannot explain them only through PowerPoints. For instance, I managed through the tablet bell. This is the approach, tablet bell through Note 1. So let's say the first, this equation, the costs, for example, the limit costs or the highest cost for is equal delta K, that is changed in the cost will lead to a change in the quantity of production. With this, I will give an example that he can apply it, implement it, and through this program, I can put in some pictures, graphics. I can also work on the market, law of the market, offer and demand. I can do through this, and I apply the law of offer and demand. So the students will understand through application, and I translate what I can do, and I do an interactive session. And there's a point here, and here we have an equilibrium, a balance between the offer and the demand. And through this program, I managed to implement or download the video, that supports and reinforces the students as like PowerPoint. So I had presented through this talk a video that is when I talked about privatization for students, and I wanted to give him examples of the losses of the organization of the electricity of Lebanon. I give them a video that they download, and through it. Can you hear me? Then so can
عفوا كمان قادر التلميذ هون.
The students, if you see here on the screen, here to the left, the students, how can he write? Oh, he will be able to write and send me questions. And I suppose we work here. I work on a worksheet and put it in tablets, and he writes, and I put down a question, and he will be able to give me his questions through the pencil to the left. This method let us first, so that we can benefit from time, and this helps us work with the student as if he were in the classroom, and then the students were very productive, and they got high grades, 15 out of 20 in economics. And with this, I managed to do everything. So I managed to conclude and finish, and I do share through WhatsApp or export, for instance, or through PDF, and I do export. I see it on the screen, and I keep it on desktop, and afterwards I send it to him through WhatsApp. If I wish to, I will do a link and send it through WhatsApp, not simultaneously. At any time, he can review the class, the lesson. This is a very cheap method, about $50 or $55. It might even be cheaper. That is in the light of these difficult economic situations. So I managed with this to help students and help them do interactive activity, and through which we managed to produce information through this session as if we were in the classroom. Thank you, sir. Thank you, Mr. Fuad. Thank you, Mr. Fuad. Anybody would like to ask questions to Dr. Fuad? Go ahead, Doctor.
هنبدأ بالأستاذ سامي كاكيش.
Let's start with Mr. Sami Kakish. Go ahead. Thank you, sir. This is a very good method.
في هناك تطبيق
There is an application called Snagit application through which you can use the contents of the book and you can change it through this application. I would like to ask you a question. This application, is it Microsoft? Is it a Microsoft application? Is this application a Microsoft application or not? Yes, yes, that's true. Yes, yes. Is it downloaded free of charge? Can you download it free of charge?
الله يا ريت تبعثوا لنا اياه.
I wish you could send it to us. You go through email and download it through Google. You do it on Google. I will give you the link. Thank you. I'll send it to you. Thank you. Dr. Safa, floor is yours.
عارف اوكي.
I know.
فيك تمحي، فيك تكتب، فيك تغير ألوان، فيك كل حتى في
Sorry, the sound is fragmented. You can even write certain equations, mathematical equations through it and sort them out, solve them. As if you were present in the classroom and you are not present in the classroom. Even Mr. Sami, yeah, what to explain? When you send the student all of this, all the section and all picture is present in this application. So when you send the student these, as if you were going to explain it all over to him again. Thank you, sir. Thank you, Professor. Thank you, Professor Sama. Any other request for the floor? Any other request for the floor? Thank you. Any other? Let's move now to Professor Ahmed Samara. Doctor, thank you. Thank you, Professor. The way Professor used, can you hear me? Yes, we can hear you, sir. It's asynchronous teaching in certain classes, such as economics. If it were synchronous, you can think about synchronous teaching. It would be even better. It's good effort, but certain classes, certain lessons would be good in synchronous. Synchronous, sorry. Are you saying synchronous, interactive? You are present with your students and they have Zoom with you. Have you worked with them? It's suppose the student hasn't understood anything. You will reinforce the information and you send him the whole class. If a student couldn't attend, or there was a power cut or internet cut, that if you feel that you need some revision to consolidate the information, that is, you take all of this lesson and you send it to him, the same as you have explained it to them in the classroom. And asynchronous also, this method, it will support the student. Professor Ahmed, Professor Fuad, we used OneNote with Microsoft Teams. It comes up directly. And with Zoom also. Say he had an electricity power cut. He's going to miss the class now. He will receive it afterwards. And this didn't exist in face-to-face attendance teaching. So this online teaching has improved education more than presence teaching. Certain classes I cannot use them in the classroom. The video, for a classroom, you need LCD, you need the projector. So you need a lot of heavy logistics. But here, everything, I have it in front of me and I see the students. He's in contact with me and I'm in contact with him and it's free of charge. Now we give the floor to the expert, Dr. Rabhi. Dr. Rabhi, the floor is yours, sir. Unmute, Ustad Rabhi. Use unmute, Professor Rabhi. Share. Click on share, Professor Rabhi.
يعني بس دكتور نعمي قبل ما
دكتور نعمي
قبل حضرة الخبير ما يبدأ، يعني أنا خلاصة ما استخدمه
for
كان شيء مميز، يعني
طبعا
من تفاعلي لتزامني لمدمج لإضافي على التعليم الحضوري، كان جدا شيء رائع. ممكن
This is fantastic. We can definitely learn a great deal from this. Yes, it can be used in synchronous and asynchronous and even interactive. And why not? Even within the classroom, this can be used. Thank you very much. Thank you very much, all of you. I am delighted to see you, to learn from you, and share my modest knowledge. I have a little comment, is that we had more participants last time, and now we are 36. I wish we could have more. I know you gave me some time. We are going to talk about learning and online learning. I will be very brief. When do we call it online? It's when the teacher and the students are not in the same place. That is to say, they don't see each other. They are not in a classroom. They are not in the same venue. But it has some positives and advantages and disadvantages. We use online because of some conditions that could be Corona. It could be the difficulty of accessing the school. It could be because of problems of security, because of catastrophes, natural disasters, and of course the situation where we happen today. Sometimes all these conditions sometimes force us to use online learning or teaching. We resort to it as a strategy. Today, online learning has been very beneficial to us, and we can develop it in the future so that we can use the hybrid system, as somebody said earlier. Today, online has opened new horizons for us, things that we never imagined, and definitely online learning can improve the teaching experience. But still, we should believe in one thing, is that in-class teaching and learning cannot be replaced. I believe that now, as somebody said rightly, we need to use a hybrid learning teaching system, in class and online. The Ministry of Education in Jordan found itself, as of February 2019, 2020, we found ourselves in Jordan to adopt the online. The ministry started a platform, made the classes free at any time, and covered all parts of the country. And students who didn't have internet, who didn't have computers, were given to them at free of charge, and prepared 2 TV channels so that students can follow classes. So there were a lot of efforts made by the Ministry of Education in Jordan. Today, private schools started competing with the public schools. And everybody today is looking for an alternative. Some of the schools, private ones, adopted Teams, others used Zoom, others used Microsoft. In my school, Khalil Rahman, we used a platform called B12, which can give the students the possibility to learn as if he were in a classroom. We start from 8 until 2 p.m., 8 in the morning to 2 p.m. When we finish class, the student who was missing will be sent a message to his father, and the student can ask questions, can make comments, and the teacher can answer him. Even the students were obliged to be wearing their school uniforms as if they were in a classroom situation. And this was a real successful experience. And the platform has helped us to be in contact with the father and the mother all the time, because the parents were involved in this concept. Now I'm going to share with you two examples. The first one is one from an interactive system for online learning. Can you hear me? Yes. So the first, the second, and the third are parts of interactive sessions where we used online. And I hope you can share with me your opinions. Okay, let's look at the first section. Yeah, go ahead, please. I hope I can open this. I don't know how to open it. Okay, I'm going to open it from my side. I can't find it. What happened? Something went wrong.
مش الحال.
نعم. سلايد شو.
مش الحال.
Click on the slideshow.
اعمل هناك ساعتها بصير اللينك الهايبر لينك يشتغل. تكبسها
على وين؟
على اليمين على اليمين على اليمين بعد
So where am I supposed to go? Yes. There is something. Click on the cup. Click on the cup. No, not this one. Not this one. The one next to it. Okay, here. It's going to work now. I do apologize. These are technical issues. So this is an interactive section.
شغلها أستاذ ربحي. شغل.
Yeah, play it, please. Play it. We can't hear you now. We have lost the audio. Click on audio.
هاي شير.
Okay, now we can see. But we don't have the audio yet. You would like me to play it from my side? Okay, please. Yeah. Okay, cancel, close your screen. I'm going to play it from my side. And Dr. Ribhi will explain while you are playing his video. Okay. Yeah. Stop share on your side, please. I apologize. I am interfering now, of course.
دكتور فؤاد مداخلاتك قيمة دايما انت لمساتك.
You always entertain us and we learn from you. Thank you so much. Let me just prepare the file and then we can go over it together. I'm sorry for this delay. It's a technical issue. Well, we are learning. This is like if we were learning how to use the technology ourselves. Is it open? Can you open it?
دكتور نعمي دكتور نعمي ارجع على الزوم، ارجع على الزوم بالاساس وحط ساوند ويز فيديو. هول تحت اشارتين حطهم صح عليهم.
I'm just trying to explain.
ارجع لتحت، ارجع بعدين للاخير، ارجع للزوم، اعمل مينيمايز للفيديو تقول لك.
هلا شايفين؟ هلا
نحن شايفين. ايه شايفينك انت والدكتور بس بكفينا.
لحظه خليني اعمل شير.
والشخص اللي يعني انا
نعم واضح.
بس لا اعمل شير، بس تعمل شير، بس لحظه.
Wait, I'm gonna play it.
نعم.
مش الحال.
هلا
مش الحال.
لحظة. هلا عم تسمعوا؟
برجيهم اشرح لهم. يلا يا مايا.
ايه سامعين.
We can hear but it's not clear.
هلا انا حطيتهم هيك بعدين يعني انا عم بلعب بس يعني انه بتذكر
مقطع الواحد بدك تقبس عليه دكتور.
The sound is not clear. So there is a lady who is talking about the sound is repeated. It's like echoed, says Mr. Safa.
يكون تسجيل الفيديو عندهم بالسكرين ريكوردينج هو المشكله اللي فيه.
I think the problem is the recording.
مش شايف اشاره صوت على السلايد دكتور نعمي انا.
طيب انا برجع على الشير وبحاول اظبطها.
I'm going to go back to share and try to fix it. No. Let me do it.
طيب يعني خلينا نحكي بهمش دكتور، خلينا نحكي.
طيب no problem. Let's talk. Let's continue chatting. We made a point that the session should be in majority interactive, or all sessions should be interactive. And through the platform, we said, we focused that the learning should be online learning, but not online teaching. The student received information, or he's the one who will go in depth in information and formulate new things and apply and execute. We did some practical scientific experiments, and as soon as the student who watches everything, and eventually he's the one who receives the final result. He's the one who does graphs. He's the one who solves the math equations. He's the one who provides applications for these experiments. The second approach is online approach. Online learning is the student who explains the results, giving the results and explaining it and analyzing it, and gives it to the student as prepared set of information. Mr. Rabhi, let's continue with discussion. We are limited with time, we're constrained by time. Let's open the debate for everybody. No problem, Professor Rabhi. So we managed through this online learning, distance learning, to change the classroom, change it from through interactive learning. We managed to change this classroom that has only the teachers. It has changed into a workshop in which the students participate, and sometimes certain interventions of their families or their parents, but we used to refuse this, not accept it. Yes, this platform helps us to keep the privacy and we used to also check out attendance and absences every 5 minutes, and every time a student check out, we send a message to his family, and we received homework, sent out homeworks, receiving homeworks in this way. We try to prepare and visualize the tests and the consultant or the experts can go inside the session also and gives orientation. So we provided for students who have some experience problems in learning. We provided them with different chat applications through electronic sessions. So this program helps us analyze the result, analyze the electronic tests and exams, and we train the teachers also online. We have a lot of interactive platforms. Thank you, Professor Rabhi. Let's open the debate now. Professor Hani. Professor Hani, when I sent out this to you, I was sure, and I checked out the videos. No problem. Professor Hani, go ahead. Thank you, Dr. Niama. In fact, your platform from the ministry, interactive learning, what is the relationship between this and is interactive learning, was it really interactive? And how did you respect the curricula from the ministry? Your lesson on TV was not interactive. Interactivity is a platform. It's the platform that the students go into through the ministerial code, passcode. It's free of charge through the national code or national number, through his computer or through his cell phone. This was interactive in the kingdom without TV or anything. And there was learning achieved. At least we can call it synchronous. Synchronous. At least we can say that. And the students used to send out questions, and the teacher is the one who answers their questions. In fact, with the capacity of the minister during this crisis, the ministry has provided everything it could provide during this health crisis. The horizons for education. What should the ministry do to prepare for the future? We might be faced with the problems like this in the future, or even worse. The education horizons need 2 or 3 years to make up for the lost education. All the fundamentals that have been learned by students, or should have been learned by students, have been lost. So we need 2 or 3 years to catch up. This is a serious issue, but we try as a private schools. We tried as best as we could to do during the vacations and to work through the platform to make up for what has been lost. But we need a long time to make up for what has been lost. I'm talking about the horizons for education. We tried to deal with this gap between what has been planned and what has been achieved through reorganization of the curriculum in accordance with the fundamental contents and non-fundamental contents, knowing because there are contents for a grade, 10th grade, let's say, so we put it for the 12th grade. So we put it in the 12th grade and we focus on the contents that will not be repeated in the 12th grade, and so on and so forth. So we managed to deal with every gap, and we have alleviated the intensity of this gap. The beginning of the school year, that is for 6 weeks, we try to do compensation for what information that has been lost on the students. We gave 6 weeks too, but there was no change in the curricula. We devoted the first stage for 3 or 4 weeks to learning what has been lost in the previous grade. So in grade 2, for instance, we devoted some weeks to catch up on what has been not covered in grade 1. Dr. Rani, we can say that we almost tried to adapt ourselves with this health crisis. I mean, we couldn't find a radical solution to it, of course, that's true, but we try to adapt ourselves and live with it. One moment, there is Mr. Ahmed Samara and then Mr. Ibrahim and then you. Go ahead, Ahmed Samara. Thank you for Khalil Rahman's experience and their dealing with students, and I was with them continuously. What are the guarantees that the students wouldn't stop the laptop and enter with the students? The teacher used to ask him questions continuously. So they used to ask the student if he can't open the camera, and the teacher continues explaining, and the students open. Every student is supposed to be connected at that time. Thank you, Mr. Ahmed. Mr. Ibrahim. Mr. Ibrahim, can you hear us, sir?
استاذ ابراهيم افتح المايك، ما عم نسمعك. تفضل، عم نسمعك، تفضل. لا ما عم نسمعك استاذ ابراهيم.
ابراهيم we can hear you.
ما عم نسمعك.
هلا نسمعه.
انت ناخذ استاذ زاهي. استاذ زاهي نصر الله حناخذه هلا ليكون اجى الاستاذ
ابراهيم. نصر الله.
شكرا.
Thank you, Dr. Nami. There is a question. Distance learning at all stages requires putting down an application for every class. All these doctors we have and professors, they have put some application with their efforts. The Ministry of National Education should have put an application for each class for distance learning. In primary school and secondary school, we can do it, but at the university, applications should be done centrally. So, how can we adapt the contact to the job market for the higher education? It's true that for higher education, it's the ministry that provided the platform, all the ministries. Their work focused on the public universities because after the corona or with the corona was a surprise event to us all. Second, the private sector to a large extent has many students, and it's the private private sector in education is quite ahead. There are many schools in the private sector of education, and there are even in the private sector there were some schools which used online education even before the arrival of corona. So the ministry's work focused only on the public students, public school students, and then afterwards everyone who has a national number or anybody with a passport number can go into the platform. It allowed everybody to go into it, but there was no planning from the ministry. There was no planning. Thank you, Dr. Rabhi. The last request for the floor for Dr. Umaira. Dr. Ibrahim, the last request for the floor because we are constrained by time. Dr. Ibrahim, you hear us. Dr. Sami also. Dr. Sami. Dr. Sami, we can't hear you. Thank you, Dr. Rabhi. In fact, There's a lot to say. And the problem is a technical problem. First, I'm talking about the Jordanian experience. The Jordanian experience in distance learning started in the 80s when we had something called educational television prepared and presented classes to students, and I did it myself. And then the point I would like to focus on, from my own point of view, online teaching, is that the classroom is copied on the screen. The students are on the screen and the teacher is on the screen, and everybody can interact on the screen with each other and with the teacher. And this presented a lot of material, such as personal experiences, presentation of books. I myself participated in this, and I dealt with students. Believe me, online learning. In online learning, students were able to read English and Arabic, and they were good in math. All of this through online teaching. If we can invest in it, it is very good. It will be a very good thing. The only thing is that curriculum should be planned for online teaching, and the teachers should be trained for that and should be conscious of the importance of this new technology. Anyway, this is for the future.
التعلم عن بعد بعالمنا العربي.
Online teaching in the world should that it is that the school should be involved in it, should invest in it. This is what Professor Mahi has talked about. That is the mechanization of the distance learning. Last request. Let me comment on one point, please. Let me comment, Mr. Professor. The job market after 10 years is not going to be the same job market of today. We teach the student in distance learning how he can find a job. The jobs, future jobs are not now. There will be different jobs. Every year, there is 1,300 new jobs, new careers, new professions that are introduced on the job market. But we need to provide students with skills so that he can find and adapt himself or herself to these new professions, new careers. I expect that in the future there will be a virtuous school. I agree with you 100%. Mr. Madhi, Mr. Sami, the last presented by Mr. Salam. Mr. Salam Brahim. Go ahead, doctor. Thank you, doctor. I would like to talk about my experience online.
بمدرسة خاصة. هلا أنا كوني بعلم صفوف ثانوية ومن ضمنها صف
I teach in the high school and I work on the official exam. I will talk about what happened last year, especially hybrid. Last time we did schooling online. I was asked, I will talk to you about biology, which I teach. Physics teacher had problem because there are a lot of formulas, equations that need presence in the classroom. So what we did, we used to use Google and Google Meets. So I talk to my students live as if I were in the classroom with them. And the book that I teach, they have a copy of it with them. And this book was downloaded as an ebook with videos. So I was working as if it were online. So I opened the book. I have internet at home. The problem in our schools is that many schools didn't have the internet connection, or when they had it, it wasn't good enough. So I had an LCD, I had a good connection. I try to explain the situation, and I ask the student to interact with me. I put the book and I open YouTube, and the students see the video that I am talking about. For example, I talk about one aspect or another. There is already a video that is going to explain what the student is supposed to assimilate. So this is a wonderful experience. I learned a great deal, and we use it for exams. So last year, I had students getting 79 out of 80 in grades. And on average, my students were getting 60 to 70. And this is to the efficiency of the system. We had a program that students can visit from one time to one hour to another. And if I have a student who was missing, and I can inform the headmistress, and the headmistress is going to inform the parents that your kid was in the classroom and then he left the session in the middle or something like that. So this was a good experience, and I had the feeling that I was in the classroom. So this is exactly what we're saying, the hybrid. So I write a little on the board, but everything was practically on the internet. I put some application like I can, for example, I put a family tree, and the students would copy it on Jamboard, copyboard. So the students can use the Camiboard. So I give them the answers, and then they interact. I was very happy with my experience with the student. Thank you very much, Professor. That was excellent. I wish you could tell us which applications you use, and I want you to visit those applications I shared with you at the beginning. Last year, we used it in the exams. Go Informative program also, or application. I had students in the middle school, students in the middle school. For example, I teach in high school, but my own kids are in the middle school. So I was teaching them with the Go Formative, and my exams were done from home, and I had an exam from X to Y hour. I open and I close, and I send the grade at the end of the session. It was a wonderful experience for me. I learned a great deal, and my students really enjoyed it. Thank you very much for your wonderful. I apologize for what happened with my videos. One thing to say to everybody, we have together to believe that the teacher and the students and the school and the learning and teaching system need to be beyond Corona what they were not before Corona. We have to change. And this is what Professor Salama said, is that now I am back to school and I use a laptop, for example, and computer as if I were at home. I hope that we could meet again. I hope we can have another session so that we can learn from each other. Today, we really learned a great deal. My kids who are at school, I'm trying to teach them what I am using in class, but now I am learning from you to use these new things. Thank you, Dr. Zahi.
الريكورد بتاع المحاضرة هذه أو الندوة.
ريكورد المحاضرة عم تنبعت لكم، عم بتكون
We will send you the recording of this session. It will be sent to your attention. Don't worry.
So I give the floor to Mr. Fabio to close this session. And we will make sure we have sessions online where we can share experiences, learn from each other, but we want more participation. Today we were only 36. I wish we could have more people attending. Try to pass on the message so that we could have more people. Thank you, everybody. Bye-bye. Thank you. Thank you so much for your inputs. Bye-bye. Thank you so much, Mr. Sameh. Bye-bye. Thank you, everybody. Thank you. Thank you. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.